So, good morning, my dear participants. So, my voice is clear, please, madam?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir. Sir, full
And
screen mode, sir. PPT, it's in
yeah, PPT is visible.
visible, sir. Try to keep in full screen mode, not this, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
now
sir.
it's okay, madam.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, madam. Please, can I read out, madam, first statement, madam, please, whether it is right PPT or not.
Best practices in outcome-based education, teaching, learning.
Okay, thank you very much, madam. So, today my talk is on best practices in outcome-based education, teaching, learning. Okay, this is very much important component in the next 20 years also. Why means recently the government of India has been taken initiation regarding the new education policy. That is what 2020 education policy. Already it was approved by cabinet rank also. Now the process initiated for the implementation of the new education policy from the next academic year onwards. So in this regard, now the government is also taken initiation of the various bodies are there at national level. All the bodies they want to bring under the single umbrella for best practices in the education at national level. Please 1 second. Okay. So this is what. Now as per the new education policy or as per the outcome based education, what we need to do, let us see here the statement. Focus on how to think, not what to think. So this is very much important component in outcome based education. That means as a being a teacher, I must know this statement. So what is the meaning of this statement means? So we need to focus much on the process, much on the understanding capabilities, much on the evaluation capabilities rather than rote learning. Rote learning means remembering skills. So the process is very much important and the student must be understand the process. Once he understood the process, then he can think innovatively. Once if he can remember the process, then he could not able to think innovatively. So that what we need to do, we must focus on the how to think, not what to think. So this is the quote has been quoted by our Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, in the recent conference when he was given the talk about new education policy during that time. So what are the key principles of the education policy? So now let us talk about the key principles of education policy. Then I'll be moving to the teaching learning, how the teaching learning is playing the key role in the education. So that is what I'm going to share with you. The key principles of the education policy or key principles of the student success or key principles of the teacher success also. So all are more or less similar. So what is the first point? Let us look into this. Diversity and local context in all curriculum, pedagogy and policy. The government is initiating now. The people want to speak in their regional language. Once if they speak in a regional language, maybe rural students are there, they can easy to understand and they can easy to think innovatively. So when we speak only in a different language which they are not familiar, in that aspect, they may not able to think innovatively. So that the government of India has taken initiation. So they have given freedom to the every state. The state has to be take initiation whether we need to go for the regional language curriculum or maybe any other language curriculum. And also pedagogy, we want to conduct pedagogical programs in all the regional languages. You see now the AICTE is encouraging towards that is what you see that if you are interesting, if you are willing to write a book in a regional language, they are sponsoring maybe lakhs of rupees also. So that advertisement also has come recently. Please go through the AICTE website. If you want to write or if you want to transform the book from the English to Telugu in a particular course. So that is also encouraging. And the policy is also very much important. What is meant by diversity here? Respecting individual differences. So when I'm receiving the certain kind of feedback, certain kind of information from the X, that information I have to be respect, and then I have to be consider, I have to be think whether it is useful or not to my system. In this way, I have to be respect the individual differences also. And the second one is the equity, creating equal access to opportunity. So in the class, maybe different dimensions of the different mindset people might be there, and different religion people are there, different levels of people are there in terms of the knowledge. So what I want to do, I want to apply the equity, creating equal access to opportunity. Every student should get a chance to access the education or my teaching. So that is what. And inclusion, experiencing sense of belonging and feeling valued. You see that. So sense of belonging and feeling valued, whatever the information you are receiving, you need to appreciate, you need to include such a things. Then that means indirectly you are motivating and inspiring the students. So these are the first parameter is diversity and local context. Second one is equity and inclusion. The third one is the community participation. As a being a teacher, we need to encourage all the students participation in the community development. So this is what is the importance of this community participation. Let us see, when the student visit the certain location, there what are the weaknesses are there, or what are the problems they are facing. That is what they can observe, and then they can think rather than remembering problems. So once I visit the place, there I can find certain things. By looking certain things, I can observe easily. That observation skills are very much important. Once I observe, then I can think about a solution for that situation. So that is what very much important for the students. Suppose mechanical students are there. Maybe they may be belongs to the mechanical devices. So that where the mechanical device is playing in the our community or our society, generally the mechanical device is playing the key role in the automobile sector and agriculture sector also. So what we need to do, we need to take the set of students and we need to visit the agriculture sector, and what the problems they are having, those problems they have to we have to be interactive with the agriculture people, and they can share their problems. By that the student can think in a differently. So this is what we want to create an environment. But what we are doing right now, just we are going picnic and coming back, just only fun and joy. So that's not the part, good idea. So tourism means what? For extracting of the knowledge, for gaining of the knowledge, not for the fun and joy. In this manner, maybe if mechanical students get an opportunity with automobile manufacturing company, the students have to visit and they have to be observed, they have to see that, they have to analyze, they have to evaluate, they have to come out with a fruitful, innovative solution. So that is possible only by visiting the places, by participating in the community development. And for example, chemical students are there. They want to visit the rural area, what the problems they are facing. So then they can find the solutions. Like with respect to the domain, we need to identify the certain areas, and then we have to be visit those areas. That is what community participation. So then we can guide them also. Okay, with both advantages are there. One is the guiding, other one is finding the solutions, or maybe think innovatively. So this is what community participation. The technology, use of technology in a teaching and learning, removing language barriers. You see that. When I use a technology, that is what you see that how it is personalized learning. You see that this is what laptop is there, encourage, tablet encourage, smart board also we can use, that is for interactive purpose, and video chart programs also there. So like you see that as maximum as possible, you try to encourage with the technology. So then student motivate and student can attend maximum number of classes. So this is one. And also you see that you can use the nowadays IoT also, or you can use online also. With the help of online classes, you can motivate maximum number of students even in the offline mode also. So when the students are having little weakness or little doubts, so students are having certain weaknesses and certain problems. So those problems we can sort it out by conducting extra classes in the evening. So that is the added advantage with online. So in those days, what we used to think, sir, I should not able to stay back after 5 o'clock. So this problem could not be arise in the next generation. Why this problem will not arise? Now the online, everyone have the practice, so that who are weak, and we have to identify the weak students, and then we have to be conducted special classes through online mode in the evening or in the morning, that we can consider as a extra classes. So key principles, another one is deep conceptual understanding. So this is very much important in the engineering concept, deep conceptual understanding rather than rote learning and learning. You see that what we are doing, we are focusing on the exam orientation. But exam orientation is what it is not much useful to the industry. So what we want to do, once if I am teaching one topic, I should explain about the topic, means I should define the topic, and then I have to be explained, and then I have to be solved or apply the certain mechanism, and then I have to be analyzed and evaluate. These are the skills are very much important. When they do have these are the skills, then they can easy to identify the appropriate solution for the appropriate situation. So that is what real world situation. You see, the knowledge and skill, when the student is having knowledge and skill, when the problem occurred, immediately he should able to identify which is a more relevant method for this situation. So this kind of knowledge we want to introduce in the engineering education system. So, but many of us have many methods, but when the problem occurred, then we should not able to identify the appropriate problem for this situation. So this is very much important. Okay. So this kind of environment we want to create in the education system. And the next point is identify the unique capabilities. So every student is a unique personality. When the student is having a unique personality, in this case, what I want to do, I have to identify the unique capabilities of individual student. Once we identify the capabilities of individual student, and based on their capabilities, I want to guide them. I want to guide them. Maybe some students may be very much interesting, maybe very much interesting in practical orientation. Some students may be very much interesting in business administration. Some students may be very interesting in the programming skills. So that as per their interesting, we want to provide the mentorship, we want to provide the guideship. So this is what we want to do in the education system. Okay. So identify the unique capabilities of every student. So on the basis of that, we have to guide them, we have to mentor them. Next point is critical thinking and creativity is very much important in the education, in engineering, to encourage logical decision making and innovation. So what we want to do, we have to be focused on the critical thinking. What is mean by critical thinking? And creativity. So when I can get the creative skill, if I know the existing everything, then I should get the creative skill. If I do not know what is in the existing system, then how do I think in it differently? It is very difficult. So that in that aspect, what I want to do, first I must have the little knowledge about the remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluation. When I have these are the 5 skills, then I can easy to adapt a creative skill. So when I do not have these 5, then it could be very difficult. So that such a kind of environment we want to provide. For that, what we need to do, that is what I will be going to share with you in the coming slides. In the coming slides. Just now I am sharing the key principles of education policy. So this is what. So critical thinking means, you see what we observed when the student is writing examination, in the examination they used to write as it is what they have seen in the textbook. That is not the right understanding. So what we want to do, we want to teach the students. So when you have a certain definition, the definition they should write in a differently, but without changing the meaning. So that means they want to use their own connectors with certain set of keywords. Such a kind of environment we want to create in a classroom or maybe in other places also. So that why we are encouraging the students for the assignment means, in the assignment, they can learn the interpretation skills. Interpretation skills means what they have seen in the textbook, the same thing Maybe they are writing in the assignment, but not as it is. So how they are writing means with their own keywords, with their own set of keywords. So that is what you see that. Analyzing. Okay. Analyzing means you know that. So first remembering, understanding. So I know the matrix definition. Then what I want to know? I want to understand the matrix representation. And then what I want to know? I want to know the applications of matrix. What are the applications of matrix? You see that I can apply the matrix for the representation of my educational qualification. I can apply the matrix representation for my education, my budget sheet. I can use the matrix representation for budget estimation also, etc. Like this applications we want to introduce for the students. Once I have these are the possible applications, then which is the best one? That is what I have to be select by analyzing. There are maybe 2-3 methods are there for same task. In that aspect, I want to apply the analyzing skill set, which is the best one for my task. So that is I have to be judge. So that is what judgment. So remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluation. These are the possible. So I'll explain once again. Suppose my educational information is there. My educational information means 10th class, intermediate, degree, PG. So in this case, I can represent my educational information in the form of matrix and or in the form of graphical representation. There are two possible representations are there. So now which is the best one I want to decide. So that is what I can take a decision based on the analyzing skill set. So do I need to go for the matrix representation or do I need to go for the graphical representation? So this is these two are there. Now I want to take a decision which is the best representation for my educational information. So in this case, what I want to do, first I want to analyze my data. My data, suppose the 10th class is 50%, intermediate is 65%, and PG is 75%, and maybe pre-PhD degree is 85%. So in this case, which is the best representation, matrix or graphical representation? You see, in my education, I'm maintaining the consistency. That means always increasing level is there. So in that case, what I want to do, now I'm going to select the graphical representation only. Why I'm selecting the graphical representation? When I represent my educational percentage in the graphical representation, then easy to catch up who is going to view, who is going to read my biodata, who is going to evaluate my data. So this is the point I'm keeping in my mind. With respect to the evaluator, I'll be going to select, so which is a graphical representation. So such a kind of skill set is very much important. Small problem, you take it and you introduce it. So this is what. Creative thinking is a way of looking at a problems or a situations. Okay. So where the problem occurred, immediately he has to be think and he has to be recollect what he studied in education, and he has to be identify is there any solution for this problem. If the solution, exact solution is not there, you may be identifying the approximate solution. Then what you need to do? You need to try to moderate which you have already for the present problem. So that is the skill set is very much important in the engineering. Okay. Next, continuous review. So continuous review is very much important. So for the continuous review purpose, we are conducting the internal examination. So what is the purpose of internal examination? So first mid examination, once I evaluate, and then I have to be identify the student performance. On the basis of the student performance, then I should go for the corrective measures. After completion of the corrective measures, then again I have to test with the second mid examination. If the student is still very weak, even after second mid examination, again between the second mid examination and end examination, there is a certain gap is there. In that gap, what we want to do? In that gap, the performance of the student in the second mid and first mid examination, I want to take it, and then I have to be categorize the data. With respect to the category, I have to apply the teaching methodology and learning methodology. So this is what we want to do it as a being a faculty in a education community. So that the process is continuous review process. So once again, I'm sharing the key principles of education policy as per the new education policy also. One is the diversity and local context. Second one is the equity and inclusion. Third one is the community participation. So please, why I'm sharing these are the points. Even when we want to frame the curriculum, we must keep these points as per the new education policy, not simply to frame the curriculum. So in the curriculum, these are the points we want to incorporate. Community participation. Second one is the technology. Third one is the deep conceptual understanding. Fourth one is identify the unique capabilities of every student. Fifth one is the critical thinking and creativity. Last one is continuous review. These are the key principles of education in engineering education policy. And also, so now, so we know that teacher or a student, as per my knowledge, both are learners only. Teacher not only to teach, teacher has to learn and teach only. So that both are learners only. Who is studying on their own? She is also one of the learner. Learning on their own, so that is also learner. Or enroll in an educational institution. So once the student is enrolled in an educational institution, then so teacher or a student is a learner who is studying on their own or learning on their own or enrolled in an educational institution. Once a student is enrolled for the degree in an educational institution, with the help of educational institution resources, he can gain skill and attitude also. So that is what. Both are learners always. So suggested teaching activities as per the outcome-based education. One is effective classroom teaching. Effective classroom teaching. A teacher shall ensure effectiveness in classroom in applying classroom teaching. So effective teaching means you see that so certain times you need to move around the students and you need to share the real world examples and you need to try to correlate the concept with the real world situations. So that is what effective classroom teaching. Not to teach only the definition. You teach a definition and you demonstrate the definition. Once you demonstrate the definition, that definition, if possible, you correlate with real world situation. So that is what purpose means. Then that is very easy to remember. When I correlate to the real world situation, I never forget the definition. So that is what very much important here. So I'll take one example. So I think you might be all of you familiar about y is equal to mx plus c. Y is equal to mx plus c. So this is one of the problem I want to teach in the classroom. How do I teach how they can remember and how they can remember the applications of y is equal to mx plus c. So let us see y is equal to mx plus c. This is the simple straight line. You know that. So the same thing I can represent in the form of y is equal to w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus b. So the same thing I can represent with the two independent variables which I have been shared with y is equal to mx plus c with a single independent variable. You see now how can I use that one means for the preparation of the chicken curry or maybe any curry. So that formula how I am going to use you see that suppose if I want to prepare a chicken curry, what are the gradients are required? Salt, chicken, masala, etc. So all these items I can consider as a salt as x1, masala as x2, and chicken as x3, remaining and so on xn maybe items. And what I am taking that is what a salt maybe quantity. I want to take the random quantity. And also masala is also random quantity, and chicken also random quantity. Like this, you see that W1, W2, W3, and so on. So now I can use that formula for the preparation, for the automation of the particular curry. What is that? Y is nothing but a chicken curry equal to Y is equal to W1 X1 plus W2 X2 plus W3 X3 and so on, Wn Xn plus bias. Bias means, I think we all know that before going to finishing of the curry, generally every mother used to taste it, preliminary taste. Then if she could feel in a differently, then she can add something for change of the flavor. So that is what bias value. So that is B. So Y is equal to, so like that, we want to teach a certain equations with the help of the real world example, which I have taken. That is what real world example. The same concept you might be going to learn in the machine learning. That is what linear regression or regression technique. That example we can consider under the linear regression also. Like that, we want to teach a concept with the examples only. Then they never forget that concept. Seminars. A seminar on a practical topics can enhance qualitative understanding of the topics. So not only to teach in the classroom, you must encourage the students. So what practical courses are there, and they have to be come up with their solutions, and they should present it in the classroom. So by that, enhance the qualitative understanding of the topics. So by teaching, they can gain 75%, by listening 25%. So that we have to be encourage the students seminar aspect. Okay. So now you see that almost all IITs has been initiated the seminar concept than the assignment submission. So they have been incorporated with assignment. So when the student is submitting assignment, the same assignment, the student has to be prepared the PPT and they should present it. That is one of the added advantage for the student. And they can easily to remember, they can easily to perform the in exam also. Assignments. Assignments shall be part of the evaluation of the students. So in the assignment, what I want to check, I want to check student ability in terms of the understanding, application, analyzing, evaluation, creative, than remembering. So that means you see that when I check maybe 30 assignments, so all the assignments might be having similar content in a similar fashion only. So that means that's not the right solution. So why it is not right solution means, so they are going back to the home and referring the textbook and then they are rewriting. So when they are rewriting, they should write in their own way, not as it is, what others have written or maybe what information is available in the textbook. So that is what we want to verify as a being a teacher. I want to check whether the assignments are copied or not. That means plagiarism check is required by our eye. And problems. For practical courses like accounting, research methodology, etc., it is expected to conduct numerical problems in the class. Suppose there are certain problems are there in the machine learning or mathematics or maybe data structures or algorithms or maybe electrical power systems. In those classes, what we want to do, we want to take one problem and we want to give it to them in the classroom itself. They want to solve it and they want to, okay, think in a different way. Is there any alternate way for solving of the same problem? Like that, we have to be encouraged in the classroom. Okay, not only to teach and complete the syllabus. So that teach and complete the syllabus is called input-based system. But output-based, outcome-based system is, so not only to teach, encourage the students towards the seminars, encourage the students assignments like without any plagiarism and problem solving in the classroom, encourage group learning. So what we need to do, maybe tomorrow if I'm going to handle one session, first 20 minutes I have to teach and then next remaining 30 minutes what I want to do. I want to form the groups and I want to assign the task to each group and I have to be wait until finishing of their task. Such a kind of environment we have to be entertained in the classroom. Then only we can expect the 100% of the outcome-based education. Okay. Support group learning and peer tutoring also. Increase questioning ability. So we must ask students to frame all possible questions in a chapter and give answers. So what we want to do, once I complete the particular topic, on the topic, first I want to assign the task to the students. What task I have to be assigned? They want to prepare the questions and answers also. Like they can think innovatively, oh, what question I have to be prepared and how to answer for this question. So both they want to know that as a being a student. So these are the things we want to do. But which is a missing means, so you see that we are following, we are implementing perfectly first one, and maybe second one at the end of the year, sorry, at the end of the BTech program, and assignment is also implementing, but this is also maybe randomly we are checking, not thoroughly. So we want to check with a keen observation and problem solving skills. We are solving, but we are not encouraging the students. So we want to sit with them. We want to check their solutions, and then we have to be come out from the class. That patience is required as a being a faculty community. And group learning also, we are encouraging at the end of the program, maybe in the last year or maybe during the project work. But that's not the way. Even for your course also, you can prepare certain activities and they have to be role play that activity. So that is what group learning. And this is what you see that always we are preparing the question and asking the answer from the student. So what I want to do, I want to suggest to you. So you have to be assigned to the students. So they want to prepare the questions, okay, and also answers. Okay, like that we have to be encourage the student. So this is what you see that suggested teaching activities. Any please, shall we go for the interaction 5 minutes? Please, any doubts? We can chart. So any doubts regarding this topic? Any queries? You can send through the chat box. Shall I continue, please? Coordinator, madam.
Sir, you can continue, sir.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. So my voice is clear?
Yeah, your voice is clear.
Okay, any network issues?
No issues, sir, no issue.
Yeah, thank you very much, Srinivas. So how to improve students' performance? Students perform when realize the fruit of success. So then what we want to do? So we want to select a certain set of students. We want to guide them and we want to encourage for the participation in the hackathon. Once that batch has been successfully completed their project and if they receive a prize, then what the other students will think, oh, if I meet so-and-so ex-teacher, so I can get these are the benefits. Like that, what we want to do, we want to show the certain fruits for at least some of the students, then others can realize, others can inspire. That is what we want to do. Realize the effect of the failure, okay? Inspired and motivated students also perform when there is a competitive spirit as well as appreciation encouraged in the class. So this is very much important when the student has been given an excellent talk or maybe average talk. So we want to encourage, oh, you have given good talk today. So, but once the talk is over, again, after finishing up that session, we want to invite them personally. And as a mentor, we want to correct what the mistakes they have done during the maybe presentation, or maybe demonstration, or delivering the content. So those suggestions we have to be identified, those problems we have to be identified and suggest to the student. They can correct themselves, and that is what improvement. Next, classmates cohesively performing a group task will gain team spirit and unity. So this is group task is very much important. So as maximum as possible. So we have to be identify the certain number of tasks for respect to our program, and those tasks have to be assigned to the respective group. This is the way for the improvement of the students' performance. So key guidelines for outcome-based learning. Key guidelines for outcome-based learning. So the same thing I have been given information little in the first few slides, but now here I am giving the elaboratively visualization of the terminologies. Visualization of the terminologies. So this is very much important. So the terminology is very much important. We are giving the least priority for terminology, but first we must understand the terminology. Then it could be very easy to understand the subject. Bring dull academic concepts to life. So whatever the academic concepts are there, that concept we want to bring it to the life. So, okay, life. This is very much important, please, sir. So not to go in academic orientation only. So whatever the academic concept is there, that concept I want to map to the real life. Okay, this is what you see that. So for example, earlier I have given one example. Matrix is there. So if I teach matrix, rows and columns, how they can remember? So that what I want to do, the matrix, I have to be bring it to the real life. So where I can use that matrix means, one, I have told you already, that is what my educational qualification representation. The matrix I can use it. And similarly, the same matrix I can use it for the drawing also. The same matrix I can use it for the, what about you say that budget estimation also. Like you see that you need to correlate to the real life. So this is what very much important with visual. So that could be possible with technology, with visualization methods. And practical learning experiences, helping your students to understand how their schooling applies in the real world. Okay. Examples, interactive whiteboard. So if possible, use the interactive whiteboard to display photos, audio clips, and videos also. You see, when we are in the classroom, so when we prepare the PPT, so certain PPTs maybe you see which I have shown in the first few slides, photos are there. But now you can add even audio and video also between your topic. So maybe 5 minutes video, so that you can play during the session also. You give a break 5 minutes and then you play it. So this is the method you can apply in our class, as well as encouraging your students to get out of their seats with the classroom experiments and local field trips. So this is what you see that always we are we are trying to train them in the classroom only, but that's not the right process. So what we want to do? So what we want to do, we want to bring out from the classroom, and we have to be visit local places. So that is what I have been shared with you, community participation. So that is what community participation. Local field trips are nothing but community participation. So you select and then visit the remotely places or wherever the issues are there, those locations. So there they can learn innovative thinking. There they can learn how to think, not what to think. So when they could not visit the field trips, they have to be always concentrate on the what to think than how to think. So when they visit the places, certain trips, by trip they can realize they can think innovatively. Cooperative and cohesive learning, you see that. Promoting small group or whole class activities. So you need to encourage the cooperative learning and cohesive learning by forming the groups only. So develop their self-confidence as well as enhance their communication and critical thinking skills, which are vital throughout life, You see group activity, it is there, then that indicates what? Self-confidence. And they can get the little enhancement of skill set in terms of the communication. While discussing with the 3-4 people, anyhow they want to speak with other person when it is a group activity. So when they are speaking, by slowly they can improve themselves, they can get the confidence also, and also they can think in innovatively. How they can think in innovatively means when they discuss with 3-4 people, all the people will be come out with their own aspect, then finally they can come out with alternate solutions also. So we want alternate solutions, not a single solution only. So what is the importance of the alternate solution? That means by the alternate, so by the 3 or 4 solutions, I can pick which is the best one. So that is very much important to the present generation. And encourage the solving mathematical puzzles as a group only, conducting scientific experiments as a group, acting out short drama sketches. You see, you give it as a drama also certain times. You see, when we are conducting the cultural activities, as a part of the cultural activity, you can correlate with academic concept also. So why do we conduct only entertainment? So we can inculcate in the entertainment programs also. So such a concepts we want to identify, then you have to write a script, and that script better to share with the actors, then they can perform very well in the cultural fest. Livestock trading sessions, technical analysis, or just a few examples of how cooperative learning can be incorporated into classroom lessons. So these are the cooperative and cohesive learning methods. You might be already having little knowledge on this. So these are the key guidelines for the outcome-based learning. Inquiry-based instruction. Inspire your students to think for themselves and become more independent learners. So our job is, we have to inspire or motivate our students to think for themselves only and become more independent learners. So we want to make them as an independent learner. So this is very much important. So for that, what we need to do, which we discussed in the previous, if that we follow, definitely they can become independent learners. Encouraging students to ask questions and investigate their own ideas helps improve their problem solving skills as well as gain deeper understanding of academic concepts. So we want to encourage the students to ask questions and also investigate. And also we also ask questions to the students. See, by that, the student can think in a differently. So that is what we want to encourage. But generally, you see, we are once we enter into the class, until end of the class, we never ask any question between the session. So, or maybe we need to invite the persons from the students, or we can ask, or we need to invite. Such an environment we want to create in the classroom. Both of which are the most important life skills. Okay. Differentiation now. Differentiate your teaching by allocating tasks based on students. You see that in the classroom, I should not able to justify 100% of the students. Why? In the classroom, there are 100 students are there. Various levels of students are there. Maybe 20 students, below average, average, above average, excellent, outstanding, like categories are there. So in the classroom, maybe I can make it a balancing at the most average. But how to encourage a different categories of students in that aspect, what I want to do, I want to allocate a task as a group of students. Then in that, I can teach very well, I can demonstrate very well. So this is what one of the method for encouraging. Okay. To ensure no one gets left behind, assigning classroom activities according to students. Unique learning needs means individuals with higher academic capabilities are stretched and those who are struggling get the appropriate support. Okay. So we want to identify struggled student, and then we have to change our methodology, and we want to guide them or mentor them or send to the particular respective teacher. So this is what differentiation among the students we want to consider. Okay. So this is what already I have been shared with you. Applying technology in a classroom. Digital media surrounds young people in the 21st century. Now people are very attracting what digital media. So interactive whiteboards are mobile devices, visual new academic concepts. Mobile devices also you can encourage in the classroom, such as iPads or tablets can be used in the classroom for students to record results, take photos, videos, or simply as a behavior management technique. So this is what very much important. Okay. So mobile devices we want to encourage. Okay. So when they want, they can take a picture. And also formative assessments, fun and engaging. So this is also during the class we want to encourage, we want to conduct formative assessment. Coming to the point of professional development. Please, any doubts? My voice is clear, please. What
Please,
it is,
sir, voice is clear.
okay. Any doubts, please? Any queries?
Participants, do you have any questions?
Please, you can share through chat box. So, shall I continue, please?
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Okay. Do we need any break?
Participants, do you need any break? Or?
Do we need to go for the break or shall I continue?
Sir, you can continue, sir.
Okay, thank you. Professional development. With the professional development programs is a great way to enhance teaching and learning in our classroom. So you want to maintain the professional activity, conduct the professional activities, and by that also enhance our teaching and learning also. With educational policies constantly changing, it is extremely useful to events where you can gain inspiration from other teachers and academics also. So certain policies we want to introduce. So what policy we want to introduce means, so we want to introduce the first prize, second prize, cash prize, etc., etc. So when we encourage like this, then others can think, oh, I should go and take I should go and receive the prize or maybe cash, something. So such facility we want to create, such a policy we want to bring up in our educational institution. By that, we can encourage the, okay. Sessions can include learning about new educational technologies, online safety training, advice on how to use your teaching assistants, and much more. So this is what. Being an effective teacher is a challenging. So this is very challenging task as a being a teacher. How can I become an effective teacher? So why it is a very challenging task means, in the classroom, various categories of students are there. So every student is unique. Every student is unique. So that means like 100 students are there, 100 students are unique. So in that case, how do I give information equally to all the students? Some students may be extraordinary, some students may be average, some below average. So in this case, very challenging task. So that what I want to do, combination of teaching strategies, you can address students varying learning styles and academic capabilities, as well as make your classroom dynamic and motivational environment for students. In that case, what I want to do, not only to teach, so what I have been suggested to you earlier, one is effective teaching. Second one is seminar, assignment, group activity, or project demonstration, problem solving skills. By these, I can maybe make them happy all. So that is what, then I can become a effective teacher. So when I only teach, I never become an effective teacher. Okay, so you must encourage in a different aspects. Okay, so learning is the process of acquiring knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes, and preferences also. So learning is the process of acquiring knowledge, skills, attitude, and values. So I can divide into three components. One is knowledge, other one is a skill, other one is attitude and values. Okay. So through the learning, I want to gain knowledge. Knowledge means what? Understanding the concept. Skill means what I understood the concept that I want to implement or execute, or I should able to choose the appropriate one for my problem. So that is what skill set. And values and attitudes. Values and attitudes means, suppose if I assign a task, then if he is not doing on time, if he is not accepting immediately, or maybe if he is not responding for my person, that means he is having different attitude. So positive attitude is very much important here. So that three things are very much important in the professional education. Modification of learners' way of thinking, feeling, and doing. You see that modification of learners are way of thinking and feeling, doing this thing. All are learning. What is meant by KSA means? K is knowledge, S means skill, A means attitude and values. So let us see here is all this I am representing in the form of Venn diagram concept. You see, knowledge is know what I know. Okay. And next, skill is how am I able to do it? Attitude, why, do, why. So that is what attitude. So when I have all these three, that means I have the ability. So that is what you see that in the outcome-based education, the student should be able to. That means when he has these three skills, then only the student should be able to. When he doesn't have all these three skills, then it could be not possible to work out. So that ability means when ability, or if all he is having, then only he is having the ability. So what is meant by knowledge is know what, skill is know how. He should know how to implement. He should know how to implement. He should know what is the concept. Okay, and he should know why should I do this? Why should I do this? Why? So, okay, this is what attitude. Suppose certain experiments may be damaging the society. So in that case, attitude is very much important. If not positive attitude, then he may develop certain things, and then if he release it, then the system will be spoiled. So that in that case, attitude is playing the key role. So this is what. So again, the same thing I'm representing in a different format. Skill is the ability to perform a task. Knowledge is understanding of information. Motivation or attitude is internal drivers of behavior. That I can say attitude is behavior also. Internal drivers. So positive or negative mindset, that is what you know that. Then when the student is having three, competence equal to demonstrate behavior that leads to a success. So when he has these three, he could able to demonstrate in a proper way. So that is what we are expecting from the students. So industry is also expecting these three kinds of skills, then only they will be recruiting. So this is what. What are learner strategies for? What are learner strategies for? Enhancing learning. Enhancing learning. And what learner has to be attend several programs for enhancement only. What he is having, he has to be enhance himself. Next, perform specified task. So you want to perform a particular task, or maybe you want to implement certain things, and also solving specific problems. You want to learn the solving skills. Next, compensating for a deficit in learning. So whatever the deficit is there, that for the purpose of that compensating. Making learning easier, faster, more enjoyable. So these are the learner strategies for this, making learning easier, faster, more enjoyable. So professional engineer means, let us see who is a professional engineer, who is an engineer. So that means there are two nomenclatures are there in the present scenario. One is a simple engineer or maybe graduate, and the second one is a professional engineer. So you see that what is the difference between the professional engineer and a simple engineer? A student once enter into the educational institution, then by the help of the learning strategies or teaching strategies, he might be acquiring certain skill set. Suppose the student is acquired a knowledge without skill and without attitude. You may get the degree. Then I can say he is engineer. I can say he is the graduate only. He got the degree, no doubt about it, with a certain limit, with a certain minimum percentage. Maybe 60 or 70 also. With knowledge, but without skill set and attitude. So then I can say once he get a degree, he is engineer. But some of the students may be getting the degree with three different skills. What are the knowledge, skill, attitude, and values? Who can have these three, then they can be considered under the category of the professional engineer. So this is the basic difference between a simple engineer or maybe graduate engineer and professional engineer. So then when we consider for my company, who is the best one for my company? Let us think a professional engineer or an engineer. He's having knowledge. So when he's having knowledge, again, I have to train the student. I should spend some more amount on that student. So that what I used to do, I used to go for the professional engineering colleges, professional engineer only. So professional engineer means we have been completed degree from the accreditation college. So that means accreditation college means, so they should have this is the scenario. What is the scenario? Knowledge, skill, and attitude. The curriculum also they might be framing by considering these are the parameters. What parameters? Knowledge, skill, and attitude. So the placement, the companies also visiting for the NBA colleges. Why means they feel they may have in their mindset, once if I go for the NBA college, their students might be having these are the skills than only knowledge. So this is the basic difference between professional engineer and simple engineer or maybe a graduate engineer. So do we want to make them as a professional engineer or as an engineer? So when we can make them as a professional engineer means if I teach only in the classroom, then they can become a simple engineer. So that what we want to do, we want to make them as a professional engineers. In that aspect, what I want to do in the classroom, effective teaching, seminars, group tasks, problem solving skills or tutorial sessions, cooperative learning, cohesive learning, use technology, all these if I'm applying, then my students can become a professional engineer. If I'm only applying the effective teaching method in the classroom, my students can get a degree without skill and attitude. So where they can gain the attitude, when we encourage the students, a group activity, there the students can gain the attitude. So that group activity is very much important in the present education system. So this is what the difference between these. Let us see. The student once enter into our educational institution. You see, our educational institution. So by our teaching learning method, certain set of students maybe get the professionalism, certain students maybe get the knowledge degree. So you see that where they can fit a professional degree holders, where the knowledge holders can fit, let us look into this. So we want to make them as like this or as like this. That is what in our hands only. So let us see when they become a professional engineer, they can enter into their respective domain organizations. You see how their lifestyle. Once we make them as a just degree holders, then you see that what their lifestyle. So we have the degree, they are prepared to work in the Swiggy, Food Panda, shopping malls, etc., etc. You see that where we used to go to the shopping malls, we are finding a lot of students with a degree also. So now we want to change ourselves. Once we change, then at least we can minimize the ratio. As of now, what the as per the industry survey means 50-50 ratio is there. Now we want to make it at least 70-30 ratio, means 70 professionals and 30 degrees. At least we want to change the seal. You see that? So this is in our hands as well as student learning. Okay. So this is what. So way of style or living. So learning pyramid. So this is what I think you all having the little experience with this. So this is the information I have collected from the National Training Laboratories only. You see learning pyramid by lecture, how much percentage they can gain? 5%. So, but as a faculty, we are giving highest priority only for the lecture. Highest priority only for the lecture. So next is we want to concentrate on reading. So reading is having. So you are giving the highest priority for the lecture. And by reading, you see that they can gain the 10%. You see, by audio visual, so they can gain the 20%. So that we have to use the technology. We have to encourage the students for the reading of the book or whatever it is. See, by demonstration, 30%. So by discussion, 50%. Practice doing 75%. Teach others 90%. You see, so that what are the activities we want to encourage? Effective teaching, encourage them for the assignment activity. We want to use the technology and we want to encourage them to use the technology for their presentation. We want to encourage them for the practical demonstration, and we want to form a groups. By the group forming the group, they can get the discussion chance, and then we want to encourage the particular experiment, or maybe we want to always focus on the laboratory courses or maybe group activity projects. By that they can get the practice, and then we want to encourage for the cooperative learning. So that by the cooperative learning means one to other can teach by themselves and they can get more knowledge by this mechanism. So this is what process we want to apply. Okay. So that what is the use of all the techniques which we discussed in the previous means, by looking this pyramid structure, we can get what importance of the things. Once again, I'm repeating. Lecture means classroom teaching. Reading means by giving assignment or by giving case study work. Audio visual, we must teach with the help of the multimedia, and we encourage them for their presentation, audio visual. And we want to demonstrate, and also we want to encourage them to demonstrate their project or maybe whatever it is, okay, for their presentation. And we must form a group, and by the forming the group, they can get a chance to discuss among them, they can get. And practice doing. So practice doing means, so by encouraging the students towards projects or laboratory classes, you see 75% by laboratory, but we are giving 30% weightage for the laboratory, 70% is for classroom teaching. So that maybe as per the new education policy, we may be going to convert into the 70-30 ratio to the 50-50 ratio. Means 50% is theory and 50% is practical. By the practicals only they can gain the skill. By the theory classes, they can gain the knowledge only. So that what we want for the industry, The industry is expecting skilled people than knowledge people. So in that aspect, we want to encourage the students towards more practical laboratories, okay? And also teach others are immediate use. So we want to encourage them to participate in several conferences as a presenter, as a etc. So this is what. So learning strategies. A learner as a student or maybe as a teacher, setting goals first. We want to set the goals. A learner sets a short-term and long-term goals and works towards them only. First, I want to set the short-term goal and long-term goal. So short-term goal is what? You see that suppose if I want to complete the BTech program, so for first courses are short-term goals and the degree is a long-term goal, 4 years degree. So like that, they have to work towards their goal only. And good organizer, a learner takes care of due dates, test days, assignment submission, and other important information. As a being a teacher, I must organize properly the information regarding the student. When they have to be submit, when they have to be write exam, when they have to submit assignment, and what are the consequences are there if they could not submit on time or before the deadline. So that instructions I must provide to the students. If I should not provide any instructions to the student, then they can take it as a granted. So then again we are asking, so management or maybe principal, sir, the students are not turn up. So why? The reason is when we are not evaluating properly, then they could not turn up. So when we do the sincerely assessment and evaluation, definitely all the students will turn up. So at all the students, at least 80% of students. So active learners. Active learners respond to an activity by applying information. So the learners respond to that. Choose to work independently or in a groups. So we have to be encourage them as independent as a group. Time management is very much important. The learner is able to understand the value of time and tries to organize his time. So what we need to do, we want to suggest to the students while entering into the program or entering into the course. So how to manage the time for this course. So that is the information we want to provide to the students as a teacher or as a mentor. Questioning. The teacher asks questions to check the understanding and memorizing and analyzing capacity of the learner. So why do I want to ask the questions to students? So we are giving the question means we are posting the question to the student. That means what you see that whether they understood or not, whether they are able to memorizing or not, whether they are able to analyzing the skills or not. So these are the things we want to test by interacting with the students. So what we need to do as per the Bloom's taxonomy, I must prepare the at least 6 to 7 questions, simple questions, and all those questions I want to share at the end of the session in the classroom. By the help of that interaction, we can test whether they understood or not, analyzing capabilities or not, there or not. So these are the strategies. One is a goal setting, organizing, active learning, independent or group, time management, and questioning. The learner answers the questions on the basis of his abilities. Answers the questions on the basis of his abilities. I want to test the learner ability by taking the answers. Meaningful material. Learner collect the meaningful material like notes, PPT, video lectures. So what we need to do, we want to provide the meaningful material to the learner or the student, and also we want to encourage them. So by themselves, they have to collect their own material relevant to the program. So this is what we want to be suggested. Meaningful material we want to provide. Participate in external activities. So what we want to do, so we have to be select certain students, and then we have to be encourage them for the presentations in the seminars or group projects or project expo where they're conducting or hackathons. So this is what we want to encourage. Our job is online coding learning or a competition. So by encouraging the students, we also can gain the certain skills. How I can gain the certain skills means when the student is preparing the presentation for the particular seminar, then what I want to do, I want to evaluate it. By evaluating, I can enhance myself. So this is also one of the learning. I also can become a learner. So when I'm evaluating the student project, that means I'm trying to finding the mistakes, I'm trying to finding the best, I'm trying to finding the enhancement of the skill set. By that, I can enhance myself. So this is what online coding learning or competition. So there are various platforms are available. Online coding platforms are there. So that platform's names have to be clearly shared with the students, which is available. Suppose for computer science, you see that Code Club is there, Hacker Rank is there, and some blogs are also there. All this information we want to share with students, and they can think about that, they can participate, and they can find their competition level. So that is the platform we want to provide. Next, build a network. We want to suggest to the students how to build a network. How to build a network means, as a being a student, they doesn't know sometimes, but we have to be share with the students, whether they know or not, we don't know, but we want to share how to build a network. So what every student must be create their own LinkedIn or maybe any social maybe platform is there, which is useful to the education. So such a links I have to be share with the students as a being a teacher, then they can get an opportunity once they. But what is the use of this build a network? What is the use of network? If I have an account in the LinkedIn, then whatever the activities I'm doing, if I can post it in the LinkedIn, somebody can watch that activity. And later on, if they want such a such a kind of activity, in that case, they may contact me. So that means I'm going to creating myself as opportunity. Who is responsible for the creation of the opportunity? So myself only how to create opportunity, and I have to be utilize it. When I get a call, then I have to be respond for that. So that the network is very much important. Even as a being a faculty, we must create a LinkedIn, and we have to be posted whatever the activities we are doing. So that is indicating of your performance, that is indicating of your learning capabilities, that is indicating of your domain expertise. By the help of that, others can contact you. So this is what build a network. Even for students, very important. Create an opportunity, but wait for opportunity. So what create an opportunity means? Suppose if I guided 3 projects in my domain for my BTech students, what I want to do immediately, I should encourage at least one batch of students for a hackathon. If they participate in the hackathon, that that credit is for both of us. One is the students and me also. So that credit, what I want to do, I have to be upload in the LinkedIn or any other social media. So once if I upload, if somebody want a similar kind of project or maybe some similar kind of activity role is there, they can invite me. So that is what I want to create the opportunity, but wait for opportunity. Okay, don't expect immediately. Characteristics of good learner. Curiosity. As a teacher, curiosity is very much important. Now you see that there is a boom is there for the machine learning and artificial intelligence. So what we need to do? So we have to be love that course. We have to be discover certain learning skills in that. So like that, we have to be select and we have to be teach. We have to be okay, test ourselves. Eagerness to learn beyond the books propels learning forward. Self-assessment. He is capable of assessing his own performance. So self-assessment is also very much important. A good learner, as a student, as a teacher. Suppose if I teach in the class, once I'll come back from the class, what I have to do? I have to be reassess how I have given a lecture. So that is what very much important. Flexible mindset. Flexible mindset. So he is always ready to interact with the people and share knowledge for keeping the learning spirit alive. See that flexible mindset means where the knowledge sessions are going on, where the knowledge people are there, you try to interact with them, you try to extract something. So that is for what learning spirit live. Next. Search for new knowledge resource. So you have to search for new knowledge resource. He believes in knowing more and he is always engaged in useful learning activities in search of new things. So you can search, and nowadays it is very easy. Google is there, various platforms are available. Okay, so for new knowledge resource, virtual labs are there. You can use virtual lab for understanding of the concept, or animators also there, like learning style. What is a learning style? Student is more interested in learning. He can identify the right way of learning. So generally students are, when he took admission in our college, that means he is more interested to learn something so that he can identify the right way of learning by going. Who can be a good learner. The learning styles, you see that here I'm giving some samples. Listen and learn in comfort. You see this is what? Listen and learn in a comfort. Okay, this is what? Feel inspired in our new seminar spaces. So seminar spaces, feel. The learning zone adapts to your learning style. You see that as the individual or many people are sitting and then they may be concentrating on their learning style. That's only. Next, you see that another way is experimenting with the latest equipment. So you try to experiment it with the latest equipment. Suppose if you are very familiar Java language, the same concepts you try to implement using Python or any new technology is there. Like that, you can get offering you greater opportunities. You see that greater opportunity utilized and supporting flexible and independent learning, library utilization, or maybe YouTube channels, or maybe in animation, etc. So these are the learning styles. Okay. So learning styles means one is auditory learning, audio tapes, stories, videos, songs. So this is what you see that auditory learning means just listening only. Listening. So visual learning, students can remember what they see and prefer a visual source of information, such as videos or internet. So visual is easy to remember. Audio is a little bit lesser than the visualization. And next one is learning. You see that making and solving puzzles. So this is what you see that making and solving puzzles, do the practice only. Tactile learning, you see that learning by touching and doing also, you see that here you see that a kid is learning how she is learning. So by this also they can easy to remember, they can easy to, you see one-to-one learning very easy, sometimes easy to remember. We never forget such a concept. You see that when we listen in the classroom, you may forget. When we sit together one-to-one, correspondence is there, then that could be easy to remember forever. So like this, learning styles, various methods are there. You can go ahead. Okay. Now, so what are the mechanisms are there? Is that self-managed learning. One is other one is face-to-face tutorials. Next one is online learning. So you can divide as many as maximum possible, but I have been classified into three categories. One is the self-managed learning models. That is what digital, physical library, peers or tutors, assembly. Okay. Next one is face-to-face tutorials, classroom or laboratory, 10 hours interaction, varied instructional strategies. Online learning means you know that various digital platforms are there. You can use any one of these method. The structural setup of teaching learning. This is what already I have been shared with you under OBE. So components for each course outcome. You see, decide a teaching or training components for each course outcome. So every course is having minimum maybe 5 to 6 outcomes are there. So like this, you have to be defined what are the assessment mechanisms you are considering for each outcome, Okay. So theory is that understanding, practically the skill set, seminar is the communication skills, problems are abilities, and assignments are understanding capabilities, project is attitude and values, skill, knowledge, etc. You see that. Like this, you have to be consider whether you are going to consider only theory or only practical for your outcome. That is what you want to specify very clearly, and that information you need to share before going to conduct the examination. So these practices we want to introduce. Okay. So 6 outcomes are there for every course. So all may not be useful, for the all the outcomes. So with respect to the outcome, you need to choose which is the right one, which is not right one. Okay, so this is what. So generally these are the possible for the practical courses. Okay. Please, any queries? Any queries, please?
Participants, do you have any queries?
Okay. So any queries, please? We are expecting at least one query from one. Okay, shall I continue, sir?
Yeah, continue, sir. I think no queries.
So I have divided into like a two levels of the teaching. To the student to attend lectures, to listen carefully, to take notes, to read the recommended readings and write the exam. This is generally high school level. Okay. Teaching strategy is held constant usually in the form of lecture. Student performance is attributed to differences between students in the ability, motivation, what sort of school they went to, and the cultural background, and so on. So this is what very much important, sir. But in the present scenario, this is what missing, and this is also we are neglecting what sort of school they went to. Okay, so and this is also, but motivation is there, ability is there. Teaching level 2 is that making the students to understand is a teacher's responsibility. So who is the responsible making the students to understand? It is our responsibility as a teacher. So whether they may be very weak or extraordinary, that's not criteria, but it is our responsibility only. How to make the students to understand means I have shared already various mechanisms are there. With the help of those mechanisms, we can easy to make them to learn. Teachers always think of improving teaching. So we must think on improving teaching. So today how I teach, tomorrow what I have to be considered for easy understanding, for easy implementation. Like this, always we have to be think. Finding a new way of teaching. So you try to identify the new way of teaching, innovative methods. So this is what always NBA is asking, because of everyone have their own unique standards, so that you try to find out. A teacher is open to change his or her teaching tactics. He has to be open to change. That means he has to be collect the feedback. By taking the feedback, what is the need of the feedback means not to test our ability. The feedback is mainly for what, the feedback is mainly for enhancement of the teaching ability as well as self-assessment purpose. So that is the purpose of feedback. But what we used to think, always we used to think, okay, it is showing the negative, maybe it is showing my weakness, but not that is your weakness. Okay, so that maybe knowingly or unknowingly you are unable to handle sometimes in a proper way. So in that case, once we collect the feedback, once I go back that feedback, then I can think, oh, this is the mistake I'm doing. So this is very silly mistake. So next time I should not repeat. Like this, I can improve myself. Learning is entirely depending upon the teacher. So that's, you see, teacher to teacher is varying. So the students always feel sometimes, oh, so-and-so teacher is very good, so-and-so teacher is average, so-and-so teacher is extraordinary. Like this, they feel comfortably sometimes. Why means? Because of that, based on the teacher ability only. The notion is, if the student does not perform the teaching, is not effective. Okay. So if the student does not perform, the teaching is not effective. That means student is not performing very well. That means that is fault of the teacher. They may be blaming always. So that what we need to do, once we follow the which mechanisms I have been shared with you, not only classroom teaching, then definitely there is a possibility to perform very well in the examination. Teaching level 3, you see that now we are moving to the student-centered model of teaching. The purpose of the teaching is to support learning. The teacher can do longer. Say, I taught them, but they didn't learn. They didn't learn. So expert teaching includes mastery over a variety of teaching techniques, but unless learning takes place, they are irrelevant. You see that. So student-centered model of teaching. Student-centric means you see that when I ask the student, you should able to demonstrate it. That is what student-centric learning. So that kind of ability we have to give it to the student. So this is what we all very much familiar. We know that what is this? You see Bloom's taxonomy applied to engineering education. So just I have taken the example is turbines. So you know the Bloom's taxonomy is there are 6 levels are there in the cognitive skill category. Generally, Bloom's level is 3 categories are there. Bloom's level, affectionative and psychomotor skills are there. In this slide, I'll be focusing much on the academic relevant skill only. Which is academic relevant skill is cognitive skill as a part of the Bloom's level. The cognitive skill is consisting of 6 categories. One is basic knowledge, that means remembering. Second one is a comprehension, that means understanding. Third one is application. Fourth one is analysis. Fifth one is evaluation. Sixth one is the synthesis. You see learning objectives or learning outcomes, whatever it is, you see that learning objectives. So what in the question, if this keyword is there, then I can say that it belongs to the remembering skill set. What is this? Recall, tell, state, define, list, identify. That means how many members in your family? That is the remembering skill. How many people in your family? That is the remembering skill set. Okay. So explain about your family members. That is what understanding skill set. Okay. So tell who is doesn't like the so and so X item. That means application knowledge. So who is good, who is not good in our family? That is what analyzing skills. Who is good, who is not good. Who is the best for your activity? That is what evaluation skill. So you need to select a best person from your family for the certain activity. In that case, what kind of skill I want to apply? Evaluation. So like this, we need to understand all the 6 skill set. Okay. So once again, I'm repeating. Remembering means how many people in our family. That is what remembering skill. Or how many members are there. Okay. Understanding means so explain about each and every family member. Okay. So that is what understanding skill set. And then application is who is the, so then we say that who like it, who doesn't like the so and so X item. That means application knowledge. And also who is good or bad, or who is weak or strong. So that is what, who is good or bad in our family, or who is weak or strong in our family. Okay, that is what analyzing skill set. So who is the best person for so and so activity. So that is what evaluation skill set. So these are the skills are very much important. Like this, I have to be teach when I teach in the classroom. So let us take it an example of the turbines course related to turbines. You see level 1, remembering. List the various types of turbines. List the various types of turbines. Level 2 skill, understanding. Describe the different turbine types. Explain how they function. You see that. Here is what I'm asking, only list. Here I'm asking what relationship also, explaining and how the functioning. Okay, next application. Demonstrate which type of turbine has the maximum efficiency. Horizontal axis turbines or vertical axis turbines. Demonstrate. Next analysis. Compare and distinguish the turbine from the throttling valve. Analyze how are they different in terms of the design and the construction. This is what analyzing. Evaluation, you see that. Assess and evaluate the performance of your wind turbine model with that of competitors turbine model. Next, evaluations, creative skills. Design and develop a horizontal axis wind turbine suitable for high wind speeds, you see that. Like this, you see on the same topic, how I have been designed a questioning, you see that, the questioning. So similarly, you want to design a questioning with respect to your topic, with respect to your course. So this is what you see that. Here I have given one example with respect to the family, how I designed the question. Similarly, with respect to the turbine topic, how we design, you see that. Like this, we have to be design the question paper. But this is very much important. Please, all of us remember, how is this theory applied in the real world? Suppose if I teach one theory concept, immediately I have to be share with the students, oh, this concept we can use in the so-and-so place, in the so-and-so situation, in the so-and-so, like I want to teach. Could you provide an example of when this formula might be used? So for this one example also we must be required. And whatever the concept we teach, that is what you see that, could you sketch what that? So what I have in my memory, some concept is there. That concept I want to represent in the form of diagrammatical representation. Once if I'm putting in the form of diagrammatical representation, that means I can easily remember. I never forget. That means I understood. If I'm not able to put my thought in the form of diagrammatical representation, that means just I'm thinking, but I'm not bothering about the how to think. So that is what. How is this equation applied in a practice? So you need to do the practice also, means execute. And where did that formula come from? So this is also very much important. But sometimes what we used to do, okay, you remember, you by heart it. Oh, we don't want this. Like that we are teaching. But in engineering education, we should specify from where it has been come. So this is what. So if the student, I want to test all these aspects for one concept only. I want to test in all these aspects for one concept. So still if the student is not able to give a solution for all this, then what, I still don't understand when that formula is used. Okay, you have to be go for the different another activity, not with the same activity. So as per my observation in the present scenario, please, maybe in this session, maybe CSC, mechanical, electronics, electrical, other domain people also might be participating. In a future, so there will be huge demand for the multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary than single domain or professional domain. So that you see that my suggestion is, please, whether you are belongs to EEE or mechanical or any other domain, but you must learn these are the following courses. Once if you have these are the skills, then you can survive in a future. What are the courses means? Mathematics, probability and statistics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, programming languages, any two. In addition to your regular curriculum. So that means in the tomorrow, as per the new education policy, maybe tomorrow all the maybe people going to introduce the multidisciplinary courses. That means IoT for ECE, IoT for power system, machine learning techniques for the power system, machine learning techniques for the automation system, artificial intelligence, automobile system, like you may see in a future. So that my suggestion is, please, even non-computer science faculty, if they can learn these are the courses, they can easily to survive in this society. And also my suggestion is, please, you also might be participating in the curriculum development. When you are the member of the curriculum curriculum from the mechanical or EEE or any other program, okay, so please you have to be suggest to your curriculum department, sir, these are the courses we want to introduce in our curriculum, then we will be survive in a future. So like that, please you also be suggest to your curriculum design experts. Okay. So then we will be survive non-computer science student faculty. So applications of artificial intelligence. Let us see why I'm suggesting artificial intelligence is very important to all of you. You see, when we look into this, without artificial, nowadays you see that gaming with artificial intelligence, astronomy also you see that, healthcare, transport, agriculture, education, e-commerce, entertainment, robotics, automotive, mechanical, social media, data security, finance. So these are the techniques are very much important in all the domains, so that please try to change your curriculum than uh, finding alternative course. Okay, so try to change the curriculum. In that curriculum, if you include the following courses, you also be equivalent to the computer science faculty. Okay, so thank you. So this is what resources and tools. Resources and tools for engineering students, education and skill development, national program on technology enhanced learning. There is a one tool available. I think you all very familiar. National Society for Professional Engineers. This is also one platform available. SWAYAM courses. For internship, you see that Boeing Aircraft, Google, LinkedIn, etc. Links are there. You can search in the Google. You can find it. And academics and research, who are very much interesting for the research or academics, Microsoft Academic Search is there, National Institute of Standards and Technology, etc. So as a student or as a faculty, please, if you are not willing to learn, no one can help you. As being a researcher, please, all of you remember this quote. If you are determined to learn, no one can stop you. So that is what willpower of the human. So that first you need to fix, I want to learn, then no one will stop you. If you are not going to decide it, oh, how to learn, there are various problems are there, various issues are there in my home, then what can I do? What should I do? If you keep on thinking like that, you are going to lose your energy, you are going to lose your time, you are going to lose your career also. So that you fix to the goal, you decide to the goal and you work for the goal, no one will stop you. So this is what you see that many people used to talk about that. So someone is going to create a certain problems, but don't think that you have to focus on your learning. But this is what my fundamental formula. Please all of you follow this. Thank you one and all for patiently listening my session. So I'm expecting a queries and also a suggestions. Suggestion will be helping for my enhancement of learning. So, and I'm thankful to IARE management, principal sir, and Madhu Bala madam, Srinivas sir, for giving an opportunity to share my experience with participants. So please, any queries? I'm waiting for at least one query.
Sir, is session over, sir?
Okay, madam.
Thank you, sir, being part of our FDP sessions.
Madam, 1 second. What about data science? 1 second, madam. Please, one query is there.
Data science means?
Yeah, data science is also, data science is a multidisciplinary. That means data science is like machine learning, statistics, etc. So that data science is also playing the key role in the future, no doubt about it. So data science is a machine learning and statistics only. It is a multidisciplinary domain. Okay. 1 second, madam. One more query. So thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Hope, is it over, right, sir?
Yeah. Thank you very much, madam. Sure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for accepting our invitation and being part of our FDP program, sir.
Okay. Thank you, madam. Welcome, madam. Shall I leave, madam, please?
Yeah, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you for your management, your principal, sir, and you and Srinivas, madam, for giving an opportunity and your organizing team. Thank you very much.